Cubs fans, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you will send chills down your spine and fire through your veins all at once. Right now, as you're reading this, 3 seismic shifts are happening in our beloved organization that could completely reshape the trajectory of this season, and maybe even our championship dreams. Picture this. Deep in the minors, a left-handed phenom is absolutely destroying everything in his path, making veteran hitters look like little leaguers, while our front office watches with hungry eyes. Meanwhile, whispers are floating through the trade deadline winds about a Cy Young winner. Yes, you heard that right. A freaking CY Young winner potentially becoming available, and our name is being mentioned in the same breath as World Series contention. But wait, there's more, because while everyone's focused on the big names, there's another ace sitting right there, having a down year but carrying the kind of upside that could turn our rotation from good to absolutely lethal. Cubs fans, I'm telling you right now, smash that like button. If you're ready for this emotional roller coaster, drop a comment about which story has you most hyped, and hit subscribe because you're not going to want to miss a single update on what could be the most important month in recent Cubs history. The first story alone will have you texting every Cubs fan you know, because what's happening in South Bend right now isn't just prospect development, it's the birth of something special. Our scouts are buzzing, our coaches are grinning, and opposing teams are starting to take notice of a name they better learn to fear. This isn't just another minor league story, Cubs fans. This is the sound of our future knocking at the door, and he's knocking loud. Remember that left-handed destroyer I mentioned? Well, Cubs fans, meet Evan Ashenbeck, and trust me, you're going to want that name burned into your memory, because this kid isn't just climbing through our system. He's absolutely obliterating it. This past week, our Texas A&M product just earned Midwest League Pitcher of the Week honors after throwing 7 scoreless innings against Fort Wayne. And Cubs fans, when I tell you this performance was just the latest in a string of absolute dominance, I mean this kid has been unconscious. We're talking about his 5th straight quality start, dating back to May 14th, where he's posted a microscopic 2.23 ERA while striking out 25 batters and walking just 4. Do you understand what kind of command that represents? But here's what's got our front office absolutely salivating. This isn't some flash-in-the-pan prospect who got lucky. Ashenbeck was the unanimous All-American who posted the nation's best ERA in college baseball last season at 178. The nation's best, Cubs fans. This is a kid who struck out 87 batters while walking just 12 in college, held opponents to a 198 batting average, and won the NCBWA Stopper of the Year award. When the Cubs drafted him in the 13th round, they knew they were getting a steal. But even they couldn't have predicted this level of immediate dominance. What's making this even more incredible is watching his transition from reliever to starter. After dominating at Single-A Myrtle Beach with a perfect 0.00 ERA across 14 1/3 innings, Ashenbeck got promoted to High-A South Bend and initially struggled like most prospects do when they hit a new level. But Cubs fans, what happened next is why we're all getting goosebumps. He didn't just adjust, he became absolutely untouchable. His last 5 starts have been a masterclass in pitching excellence, and opposing Midwest League hitters are starting to look completely overmatched. Cubs fans, I'm getting emotional just thinking about what this means for our organization's future. Because while everyone's focused on who we might trade for, we've got this left-handed assassin methodically working his way through our system. But hold on to your hats, because what I'm about to tell you next involves a name that could change everything this season. Cubs fans, while Ashenbeck is building our future one strikeout at a time, our present could be about to get a massive injection of championship-level talent. And I'm not talking about just any pitcher. I'm talking about reigning Cy Young winner Chris Sale. Yes, you read that correctly. Chris Sale, the 8-time All-Star, the World Series champion, the guy who just followed up his Cy Young season with a 2.79 ERA and nearly 12 strikeouts per 9 innings in 2025. MLB insider Jon Heyman dropped this bombshell on 670 The Score, saying it's worth dreaming about for Cubs fans if the Braves become sellers at the trade deadline. Cubs fans, let me paint you a picture that should have you jumping out of your seats. Imagine Chris Sale paired with Shota Imanaga at the top of our rotation, backing up an offense that's currently 2nd in the league. in runs scored. We're not talking about incremental improvement here. We're talking about a seismic shift that would immediately put us in the conversation as World Series favorites. Now, Heyman isn't saying it's likely. The Braves are signaling their buyers right now. But here's the thing that's got Cubs fans' hearts racing. Atlanta is sitting 7 or 8 games under 500. And as we've learned from recent trades, anything can happen when teams start looking toward the future. Sale is in the second year of a 2-year, $38 million contract with an $18 million club option for 2026, making him not just an impact addition, but a controllable one. Cubs fans, I can barely contain my excitement thinking about what Chris Sale would mean for this organization. We've been searching for that true ace since we lost Justin Steele early in April. And while we've been competitive, adding a pitcher of Sale's caliber would be like strapping a rocket to our championship aspirations. The Cubs front office has the prospect capital to make it happen. And with Jed Hoyer showing he's willing to be aggressive, this might not be as far-fetched as it seems. But Cubs fans, if Chris Sale has your heart racing, wait until you hear about the under-the-radar move that could be just as impactful. Cubs fans, while everyone's dreaming about Chris Sale, there's another potential ace sitting right there in the desert, having a down year but carrying the kind of upside that could complete our championship puzzle. And his name is Zack Gallon. Now, before you start rolling your eyes at his 4.8 record and 5.15 ERA this season, let me remind you of something that should have every Cubs fan paying attention. Just 2 years ago, Gallon was the starting pitcher for the NL All-Star team and finished third in Cy Young voting. Last year, he went 14-6 with a 3.65 ERA. This isn't some broken-down veteran. This is a proven ace having a rough patch who could be available for a fraction of what Chris Sale would cost. Jim Bowden of The Athletic is already connecting the dots, suggesting Gallon as the perfect target for our Cubs. Here's what's beautiful about this potential move. Cubs fans, while every team in baseball is going to be throwing everything they have at acquiring the big names, Gallon represents that classic Cubs front office move, where we get elite talent at a discount because we're willing to bet on the player, not just the stats. Think about it. Zack Gallon needs just 3 or 4 strong starts before the deadline to remind everyone why he was considered one of the best pitchers in baseball. If the Diamondbacks continue to fall out of contention and need to move their impending free agent, we could be looking at acquiring a former Cy Young candidate for a package that doesn't gut our farm system. Cubs fans, imagine adding Gallon to a rotation that already features Shota Imanaga, with Evan Ashenbeck potentially ready to contribute later this season or early next year. We're not just talking about short-term fixes. We're talking about building something sustainable, something championship caliber. This is what separates great organizations from good ones, Cubs fans. While everyone else is fighting over the obvious targets, we're positioning ourselves to make the smart moves that create lasting success. Gallon has the stuff to return to his all-star form, and if he does it in a Cubs uniform, we're not just playoff contenders, we're World Series threats. Cubs fans, smash that like button if these 3 stories have you as fired up as I am. Drop a comment about which move you think Jed Hoyer should prioritize, and hit that subscribe button because this trade deadline is going to be absolutely wild. From Ashenbeck's dominance in the minors to the dreams of Chris Sale to the under-the-radar brilliance of targeting Zack Gallon, this organization is positioning itself for something special. The question isn't whether the Cubs are going to make moves, it's which combination of these moves will bring that championship trophy back to Wrigleyville. Cubs fans, which of these 3 stories has you most convinced that 2025 could be our year?